Hey guys, quick heads up before I start the video. The link down below takes you to my Patreon, where you can download the project files for this video. Also gain access to my premium tutorials and in-depth courses where we build games together from start to finish. Check out my Patreon below, gain direct access to years of experience so that you can start working on your dream game tomorrow. Hello everybody and welcome back to a new episode of my multiplayer Bean Battle Royale tutorial series. So in the last episode we fixed a couple of things, we also simplified a couple of things. So we made things less casting dependent and more modular. So what I mean by that is we're starting to work more with interfaces so that we don't communicate to one specific class, but so that we keep our entire framework more flexible. And in this video we're going to expand on that, because in this video we are going to be making our health packs functional. So what we've seen so far is that we can open up loot crates and then we can pick up weapons. We can start to shoot with weapons. We can also pick up assault rifles, get them in our back slot, shoot with those. And in this video we want to continue, but now with the health pack. So now that we set everything up that it works with weapons, then how can we make it that we also can pick up that health pack, take that in an empty slot or in the slot that we're holding, put that on our back, run around the map, and then whenever you feel like healing, actually use up the health pack. So this is what we're going to be working on in this video. So first of all, I want to, like I said, make a couple things more flexible. So if we take a look here inside of our core character, which we can find in our game modes core folder, core character, then we see, for example, that when we pick items up, then the items generally just give us an ID. So if we take a look here under actors, then we had our loot crate spawning our pickup items. So in this pickup item, if we take a look at it, then we see that all it does is when a player interacts with this pickup item, which is just a generic item, right? It could be a health pack or a gun or something else. Then we see that the player who picks it up comes through here. Then the item simply communicates its own ID back to that player using this event, and it then destroys itself. So this pickup item is all fine, but the way that we handle this in the character is not as flexible as we want it. So what we see here is the ID comes through, and yet again, this could be anything. It could even be armor, for example. And then we pick it up, and then we go through the whole flow. So we simply put an ID inside of an array. Otherwise, we basically spawn the pickup item again on the floor and then swap out the active slot with the incoming item. And then we see the rep notify here, which calls the update weapon function. And then we also see that if we actually start to click 1 and 2, so we start switching slots, we also see that then in this rep notify, we call it same update weapons function. So the first thing is that we no longer want to update the weapon. Instead of calling it weapons, we want to now start calling it something like update tools to make it even more generic. So what we're going to do first of all is that we're going to click here on this function and simply rename it to update tools. And then if we open this guy up, then is there anything that we can find that is hard-coded towards the weapon class? Well, not over here, so this all looks fine. But if we take a look here, we see another function called setup weapon. So this one, yet again, we want to rename it to something like to setup tool. So this one is called setup tool now. So now we have update tools and we have setup tool. And then this one, if we open it up, then over here we see our first problem. So here we see that we now start to cast towards the BP core weapon. So if we take a look here inside of our weapons folder, then we see our core weapon, which of course now has all of this logic predefined in it. So this is not proper for something like a health pack. So what we want to do is that we want to make it a bit more modular. So what do I mean by that? We're going to swap out the cast for yet again another interface event. So if we go over here to our level and then we find our interface folder, then we already have our interface here for tools, which does the handling of the pickup. So we could actually reuse this interface, or we could call it, make another one and then call that one something like active tools or something. So that depends on how you want to split things up, but I'm just simply going to add it to this blueprint interface for tools. So this one here is under the category tools. And then let's actually put it in a subcategory. So to do that, we can select the category. Then we need to have this straight divider. I'm not sure what you call that in English, but it's our tools and then our setup. So under the category tools setup, we want to handle the pickup. And then we want to make a new one. And then let's call this one setup underscore actor. We can call this something like setup actor, and the parameter that we want to pass through here is going to be the core character, because all of these things, whether it's a health pack, a magic staff or an assault rifle, they all need to have a reference of our character. So here we can type in character as a name, and that's the reference. And then let's put this inside of the category tools. So that puts it under this category over here. And if we hit compile, save, then we actually see that, well, we called this setup, so that's not the best name. Let's actually rename that to pickup, right? So that's the pickup, and this guy is actually our tools set. There we go, guys. Okay, hit compile, save. Then inside of our core weapon, we're going to go to class defaults, and then we're going to add our BPI tools. Then if we go over now to the interface, then we see over here under tools, we see setup actor coming true. Let's put this all the way on top. So what does this set up? Well, it sets up this character reference. So we're going to drag this out and plug it in just like that. Let's compile, save. Then we can go back into our character. And like I said, we're going to remove the actual cast here, which is to the weapon. So remove that. And then here we're going to simply right click and type in setup actor. And then if we do context sensitive off, then we see setup actor message. And that's the interface event that we want. Then we can right click, turn context sensitive on again. And then let's hook this guy up. So yeah, we're going to remove this one because this one comes straight out of the actual cast, right? And then we're going to reorganize it a bit. So this can look a bit nicer like this. First, we want to set the owner. Well, the owner, we want to set that of the child actor here. This can go straight in here. And then the new owner is ourselves as the character. And then next up, what we want to set is set up that actor with the character reference. So that is also the child actor that we want to do the interface event to, and ourselves in here. Then hit compile, save. Then if we head over to our core weapon, we can quickly debug to see if this works. So if we type in print, then we can drag off here and say is valid to see if we can properly set this over the interface. Let's make it 5 seconds, compile, save. Now let's test it with one player standalone. So we test it with the server first. So server walks up, picks up a assault rifle and it says true, and I can shoot. Everything works fine. And then I can also pick up a pistol and shoot. And then let's test it with a client. So play as client, play. Then we walk up to the crate. We pick up a pistol. It says server true, client true. I can then shoot. So the client has a proper reference of our core character, which is the owner. And then it can also shoot the assault rifle and it can swap shoot the pistol. All right, so that's much more dynamic now. So now that we fixed it over here inside of the core character, we can then just simply compile, save, close it out. And then this setup tool, we can also close this and close everything back to the event graph, basically. We can then actually close the entire character for now. And then we're going to be setting up our health pack. So inside of our actors folder, we're going to make a new folder. And let's call this something like health. And then inside here, we're going to click blueprint class, actor, and call this BP health pack. Hit save all. There we go. And first of all, we want to go to our data and then go to our pickup items. And then here with the health pack selected, we want to now assign the blueprint of the health pack blueprint that we just made. There we go. Hit save, and that's it. Then we can open up our blueprint actor. And then on the side of it, we're going to open up our core weapon. So put that one over here because there is a couple things that we actually want to do. So first of all, we want to set up the static mesh here. So we're going to add a static mesh component, just as we see here inside of the core weapon. Then with the static mesh component selected, we see that we set it to no collision. So here in the health pack as well, we're going to set this to no collision. So here we go. Hit compile, save. Now we call this the health pack. You might have also some like energy drinks or something. So if you want to make it even more dynamic, right? Then if you guys followed along with the tutorial so far, then you should have kind of an understanding about how you would want to approach something like that. So I'll talk about this a bit later, more down the video. But first let's set it up. So in the construction script, we're going to drag in our static mesh and then type in set static mesh. Call this function. Hook this up, promote this to a variable, and then let's call this we can simply call it the mesh in this case. Hit compile, save, And then, like I said right now, so we can either go down a road where we make this modular health pack thing. So it could either be a health pack or it could be an energy drink. So it would basically be items that have to do with something regarding character stats. In that case, you want to make it modular like this. So you want to promote everything to variable. And then just like we did with the weapons, that you have the core one and then the subclasses, we can also just make this something like general, like character stat modifier as a core class. And then we can make children, which will then be our health pack, and then another child that could then be your energy drink, etc. In that case, then you want to have this modular setup. So then in the construction script, you want to actually be able to set the mesh using a variable so that we can get the same as we see in the core character, where people can simply set it all up using only the class default settings here. Now, if you don't do that, so if the health pack is actually all it is, then you actually don't have to make this modular. So then we can simply remove this, and then we can simply click on the static mesh here, and then over here assign our health pack directly, as this is not supposed to be a modular item in that case. So that all depends a bit on what you guys want and how you want to design your game, but now you have some more insight into how to make your game dynamic and flexible and scalable like that. So what do we want inside of the health pack here? Well, just like we see inside of the weapon, we basically want to integrate the event for whenever we press the primary action. That's actually the only one that we want for the health pack. So over here inside of the health pack, if we click class defaults, go to interfaces, type in BPI, then we need to get our inputs in here, and then we want to get primary action pressed. And then of course we also want to get that reference of our characters, that this health pack can actually modify values on our character and communicate to our character. So if we click here on class defaults once more, and then click here on interfaces, then we type in BPI, and then we need to add tools, and then under tools we have setup actor. So this here, we're going to promote it to variable, and let's call this our core character. This is the core character reference. This I actually want to put it on top, hit compile, save. So what are we going to do? Well, whenever we press the primary action, we want to communicate an interface event towards our core character, which we can find over here, to adjust its health parameter. So where do we see health so far? Well, we only saw that we handled damaging. So we had here an interface event called any damage, which is a default engine event, right? And then we basically got the damage here, we subtracted it from our health, we clamped it so that we couldn't go up below a health of 0, and then if our health is below 0, then we basically killed ourselves. So we need to do kind of the same type of logic, so we're going to go over to our interfaces again, and then we're going to make ourselves another new nice interface. So go to blueprints, interfaces, BPI, and let's call it BPI character stats. Let's just call it that as general, because you might, like I said, want to have armor, energy drinks, all that cool stuff, right? So inside of here, we're gonna make one called add health. Or actually, let's make one that we call adjust health. Adjust health. So how do we want to adjust the health? Well, that should be a value. So we're going to add an input parameter of the type float. And this is going to be our let's just call it adjustment. So this will be our adjustment. Then we hit compile, save. Then inside of our character, we want to implement the interface. So we're going to type in character stats, BPI character stats. That gives us this interface here called adjust health. Now we see that it's not nice and in a category. So we do want to do that. So let's make the category character stats. Hit compile, save. Then if we go back to the character, we see that it's under character stats. Then we double click this one. Let's get it somewhere nice. So I'll get it here on the right where I got some empty space. So when we adjust the health, then what is it that we want to do? Well, we basically just want to get our health. So this is our health. Then we're going to say plus, so add, and we want to add the adjusted health. Now, of course, if the adjusted health is incoming as negative, then you just have that you add minus 100, which would still basically subtract 100 in that case. So that logic works perfectly fine. And then over here, we want to copy the clamp. So we get the clamp in here. So the new value will be this one. And then let's straighten it out. And then after we clamp it, we then want to set our health. Set it. There we go. And that gives us the new health. Now, in the case that your adjust health event could be called by something that could perhaps deal damage, right? Let's say that you drink poison, then obviously you would also need to actually take into account what we do over here. So we also need to take into account that we actually drank poison and then die. And then basically we also still want to handle all of this logic here. So keep something like that in mind, but since we know that we are just having health back right now, then this logic is fine. So we're going to put a comment around it, select it all, press C, and let's call this handle health adjustments. So here we go. Then back inside of our health pack, then we want to basically first of all check if we have set up the class defaults properly. So if we take a look at our weapon here, then we see that we make it always relevant and replicate. We want to do the same for the health pack. So we're going to make it replicate, always relevant, because yet again, it is a battle royale. So when a guy is holding the health pack in his hand, we do want to see it also at great distances. And we don't want anybody to be messing with our health pack. So replication is also, it's not only for making sure that everything works in multiplayer, it's also for making sure that clients don't start cheating. Okay, so what is it that we want to send whenever the player presses the primary action? Well, we basically want to then drag out of here and type in adjust health. So we can adjust health message. The target is going to be our core character. And then the health is going to be, let's make it an amount, and let's call this the health amount. So this is the amount of health that this health pack would be adding. If we hit compile save, then we can make the health amount something like, let's say it adds 40 health. Hit compile save. Now, of course, this happens on the client, so this just goes offline. So now we need to actually make it run over the server. So we're going to right click, custom event, SR, consume health pack. And then this one, we want to make it run on the server reliable. This one calls SR consume health pack. And then we're going to hook it up just like this. So let's go ahead and test this out first. So I'm going to get 2 players, listen server, hit play. So we have our items here. So I'm going to pick up an assault rifle, shoot this guy a couple times. Sorry, dude. It's for the video. And then we're going to have this guy pick up a health pack. Now we see the health pack in our hand here. And then he's going to left click. Boom, he consumed. So now I can actually, because we still have it in our hand, so I could consume it again. So boom, there we go. Now we're going to shoot him again. Boom, boom, boom. And he can then heal himself. So that's great. Then we're going to make this guy drop the health pack. This one is going to shoot this guy now. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to pick up that health pack. We have it in our hand. Then we can heal ourselves. And there we go. Okay, so there's now a couple of things that we want to fix. We might want to fix the way that he's holding it. So maybe he doesn't need to hold it forward but sidewards. We also want to be able to put it on our back. And then if we do that, we see that the rotation is now messed up. So right now, if I have a health pack on my back, we see that we should fix that rotation. So the assault rifle is fine and the pistol is as well. But the way that this health pack is exported in Blender makes it so that it goes on our back in a strange way, because it basically got exported differently. So what we're going to do is that inside of the pickup data table, we're going to put a transform there that we're going to send along with whatever tool we pick up. And then that transform takes care of setting up the correct rotation. And then one other thing that we need to fix, of course, is that right now, if I am to be shot, boom, 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 then I obviously can heal an infinite amount of times. But we want to consume this guy once we use it. So for the rotation of what that tool looks like on our back, we're first of all going to go inside of our core character. So game modes core character. And then we're going to locate our update tool function. So this is where we actually over here put it on our back. So we put it in the static mesh slot. Then we take a look here inside of the viewport. Then we see that here we have that back slot, and the back slot has this rotation over here. So that rotation is fine. We basically rotated it so that the assault rifle and stuff are all in their correct rotation by default. But now let's start making it dynamic. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go over to data, go over to our pickup item structure. And then what we want to add here is basically a rotation and location. So we can better just add a transform and then just call this back slot transform. Then we hit save. So we have now a backslot transform. So how do we know what kind of transform each of these weapons need? So here we got the transforms. Well, that is very simple. So in your project, you will obviously add weapons one by one. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the backslot and then we're going to click on assault rifle. And then we can simply see, okay, so this is the correct transform for the assault rifle. So we're simply going to copy these values over. So we're going to copy this location, put it in here. Make sure you have the assault rifle selected, right? So put that location in here and then copy this one, put it in here. So yes, it is a bit of a tedious process, but yeah, certain things just are. Put this one in here and then put this one in here and then make sure you don't have this little sign and then there we go. So that's all for this guy. Well, I know that the pistol is the same. So the pistol, we can simply put that in here as well. And obviously, like I said, you create these weapons one by one anyways. So you won't be able to just add 50 weapons at the same time. That's not how it works. Then we want to get this into here. And then I see that this is 0, which it should be 50. But this one here should be 50. Oh, let's just type it in, 50. And then for the assault rifle, it should be 50 as well. And then for the health pack, we're going to check out the health pack now. So here, if we now assign a health pack, then we see that this is messed up. So we're going to reset the rotation. And then let's just click rotate and make it look nice. And then we're also going to reset the location. So for each weapon or tool rather that you have, you can simply set it up like this so that you can make it perfect for every weird thing that you have. So let's say you have a big ice cream on your back. You can just make it exactly perfect for the big ice cream on your back. Okay, so I think this is fine for this one. So we're going to copy these values over now. Hit compile, save. Okay, and then hit save. So there we go. We now filled in all of these transforms. Then we go back to our character. We want to clear out the default slot again, right? So we're going to clear it out. We also want to clear out the default transform here so that it's just here at 0. So keep in mind, every time you're going to add a weapon, you just want to basically put it in here, preview it, and then put that data inside of your data table. Then inside of our update tools function, we see that here we set the static mesh and then we get our transform. Now drag off of the back slot. Actually, we're going to copy it. And then, so we want to drag out of here and then type in set transform. And then if we scroll up, then we see here under transformation, set relative transform. That's what we want. So plug this in here and then the transform goes in here. Just like this. And then whenever we basically reset the weapon, then you might want to also set your transform to nothing. So then we drag out of here and make it to 0, 0, 1. So that whenever we don't have anything, it gets set back to nice coordinates. You don't have to do it, but yeah. Check out Cactus Center right now on Steam in Early Access. It's a very fun multiplayer video game, cheaper than the Starbucks coffee. So if you want to have a good time with your friends or strangers, click that link down below. And I appreciate every single one of you. And enjoy the rest of the video. Bye! Okay, and then for the weapon itself, so the one that we're holding in our hand, we also wanted to rotate that one. So there we just see our health pack over here. So how can you preview that one? Well, you can then go to your character, viewport, active weapon. Then here we can type in health pack. Now we see that this is the rotation. So this one, if we would look at the rotation here, we just want to rotate it 90 degrees, minus 90 here on the Z axis. So also this active weapon, we're going to now reset it, compile, save. And then simply inside of our health pack here, we're going to select the static mesh and then we're going to simply rotate it 90 degrees. So we're going to do exactly this, hit compile, save, and let's test it out. So I hope that we get a health pack. Okay, so first of all, let's pick up a pistol. So pistol's fine. On my back, it's fine too. Then we pick up an assault rifle. It's fine. And on my back, it's still fine too. And everybody sees the same stuff. And then this guy can also pick up a pistol. Then let's pick up the health pack. So now we see that the health pack is very nice on our back, the way that we want it to be. And if we take it in our hand, we see that it is sideways, which is what we just adjusted. So now we hold it like this. So that's great. Then we can go back into our health pack and now make sure that we can only consume it once and that we then basically remove it from our character's active slot. So how are we going to do that? Well, basically we know that we have a reference of the core character here. So that's what we're going to be communicating to on the server. And then we know that at the time that you're consuming the health pack, we know that the health pack is in your hand. So if we go back to our core character here, event graph, then basically we want to make a little new function. So we're going to make a little function here on the left and we're going to call it remove tool. And then if we go back to our event graph, then go into this process item pickup, then we see this logic, which we're going to copy and then paste into here. So we want to remove a tool. Well, we know that if we want to remove a tool, then it is always the one in our active slot. So we consume an energy drink in our active slot, then that's the one that we want to remove. We want to remove the health pack right now in our active slot, and that's the one that we want to remove. So what are we going to do? We're going to simply say that the active slot, we're going to set that item to nothing. And then this is going to call update tools automatically. Then we're going to get nothing out of the active slot, which sets our child actor to nothing. And then there we go. So then it basically clears it out if it has nothing inside of the actor slot. So then back inside of our health pack, I know that we are using a lot of interfaces here, and that's good because why am I running this health over an interface? Well, let's say that you pick up health inside of the world by simply walking through something, or let's say that somebody is spraying you, like in Fortnite you got the health spray, then you want to run that stuff over interfaces so that even the tree over here could technically heal my character, right? But right now we just made this little function here called remove tool, and inside of our health pack we have our core character reference, so I can just instantly drag off of here and now type in remove tool. So here we then have remove tool on the core character, so this one. And then I can just directly call this function without running over an interface because this actor already knows who the core character is. So now hit compile save and let's go ahead and test this out. So here we are. We're going to open up a loot crate. Let's see, with a health pack. Oh yeah, here we have a health pack. So the client picks up a health pack. Let's shoot this guy. Boom, 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 boom. Then the client will use the health pack now. Left mouse button, he healed and it's gone out of his hand. Now the client, if the client left click, nothing happens and the client can then pick up a pistol and continue its day. So that all works fine. Now we do want to make sure that this can absolutely not be cheated. So what we're going to do is move all this stuff over to the right and then we're going to call a do once here just to be sure, because we do of course have the communication that might take a little while. So client presses action goes to the server and then the server locks it right up here. Adjust the health one time, removes the tool. And the removing of the tool might take a little bit longer and then the client might get one event in here again to already adjust the health again. So just to be sure, we're going to put a little do once in here. Okay, so that's basically, yeah, that sums it all up for this video. Then one last thing inside of the core character that we want to fix is that it might occur that you try to interact with a reference that's already gone. So if somebody picked something up and one tick before that you try to look at that actor and then interact with it, then this target might sometimes not be valid. So off of here we're going to type is valid and we're simply going to validate the interacting actor before we interact with it. Just to ensure that we don't get any is not valid little errors in our project. Okay. That's all for this video. Let's give it one more test. Okay, so let's hope that we get some health packs here. So let's simulate a real situation. So we open this up. Okay, yeah, I see a couple of health packs. So the client picks up a gun and a health pack. And then the server picks up a pistol and a health pack. I shoot this guy a couple times. Boom, boom. This guy shoots me a couple times. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, now the server wants to heal. Server grabs the health pack. It applies 40 healing. So here we go. Boom. 40 healing. My thing is gone. I can then swap back to my main weapon. And then the client here picks up the health pack. Heals. Thing is gone. pick up my pistol. Bang, 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 bang. There we go. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. We now learned how we can actually pick up health packs and then how we can heal ourselves. We made things even more dynamic and flexible again, and also scalable, right? So we can mess around with some fun parameters. I think you guys are starting to get the gist of it, of how to do all of this in multiplayer. So if you want to adjust things yourself, or like I said, want to add energy drinks, I think that would be a good practice for you to do something like that. Now, in the next video, we're going to be working on the fact that once the guy actually gets killed, so once there is one player left, we actually want to say, hey, the match is done and this is our winner. So in the next video, we're going to be working on determining the winner for our game. And then in the video after that, I believe we're going to be working on the actual blue sphere that goes smaller, 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 smaller until there's basically a very small circle, and then the players will be forced to be together and to fight with each other. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. That helps out my channel a lot. Also, if you want to mess around with this project yourself, then download it on my Patreon. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!